Robert Frank was a Swedish-born photographer who became a very important figure in the American and world art movement. Most of Robert Frank's photographic focus is on unique and interesting scenes in an urban setting. A few common themes in Frank's work includes cars, streets, and large brick buildings. One of the reasons Frank's work have become so well known is his ability to create beautiful scenes out of very non-traditional settings. While remaining aesthetically pleasing even in a non-traditional manner, Frank is also able to bring his work to a point where ethical and moral questions are raised. By far, Frank's most well-known series of work is the photo book titled The Americans. In 1955, Frank received a grant for the book and went out on a road trip across the United States of America. Over the course of his trip, Frank took over 28,000 photographs, eventually narrowing it down to just 83 to appear in the book, published in 1959. With his work in The Americans, Frank was able to push into the mainstream what much of his work did in general: show the other side of things. Frank did not travel to wealthy neighborhoods and take pictures of mansions. Robert Frank wanted to capture an ignored reality in his images. He took pictures of labor workers and young people in cities like Detroit and Hoboken, New Jersey. There was not a lot that was well-to-do in Frank's work. Rather, it was so appealing and remained so over 50 years later because of the fact that there is this harsh reality, and yet photographs remain optimistic and beautiful, rather than sad. It is almost as if Frank is telling us, yes, these places do exist, but things are alright there too, which was an important message in the culture of the post-war America in which Frank worked. I believe this is one of Frank's most successful works. There's an aesthetically pleasing sense to the image with the use of lighting and the black and white in general, while also clearly showing a neighborhood in Detroit that most Americans would not otherwise see, nor would they want to. Frank's ability to take an image people do not want to see and make it beloved through sheer beautiful setup is magnificent and an impressive artistic feat. Even the portraits Frank captured remain beautiful even without the appeal of an ethical image. The combination of harsh front lighting in a dim setting with the black and white coloring makes almost any image profoundly beautiful. Much of Frank's work is also able to contain hints of symmetry and repetition as well. This image is a great example of the styles Frank used in his standard images. Obviously, it is black and white, like all of Frank's photos, but we also see the use of repetition and an off-kilter angle in the image to further the aesthetic appeal. Even with these styles, clearly Frank is still focused on setting it in a very urban environment.